Let me begin with a simple but powerful truth. You don't become a millionaire by chance. You become one by change. And that change doesn't begin in your bank account, it begins in your thinking. Now here's something I've learned early on. You can give a poor man $1 million, and in time he'll lose it. But you can take away $1 million from someone with the mindset of wealth, and in time they'll earn it back. Why? Because wealth isn't first what you have, it's how you think. That's the great secret. Change the way you think about money, and you begin changing your relationship with it. You see, poor thinking focuses on lack, on limitations, on survival. But the wealthy, they think in terms of abundance, of opportunity, of expansion. They ask a different set of questions. Where others say, can I afford it? They ask, how can I afford it? Where others see cost, they see value. And that's the shift that transforms your financial future. When you stop asking what something costs and start asking what it's worth. Now, I often say wealth is less about doing and more about becoming. Don't chase money. Become the kind of person money is attracted to. It's not about hustling harder, working longer hours, burning yourself out. No, that's trading time for money. The millionaire mind trades value for money. The poor work harder. The wealthy work smarter, with clarity, intention, and leverage. Let me give you an example from my own life. I remember my mentor once asked me, how much value are you bringing to the marketplace? I said, I work hard. He said, I didn't ask if you work hard. I asked if you bring value. That was my first shift. Because the marketplace doesn't pay you for time, it pays you for results. So I began to ask different questions. What skill can I master that brings value? What service can I improve? What problem can I solve? And that's when everything began to change. I wasn't waiting for the government, for my boss, or for the economy to change. I decided I would change, and that shift in philosophy brought me everything I was hoping for. Let's get one thing straight. There's no quick path, no magic button. Building wealth isn't an event. It's a process of discipline of thought repeated day after day. The poor spend their time looking for luck. The wealthy design systems, create habits, and build character. Luck may help you win a lottery, but philosophy will help you keep it. So here's the first step. Build a philosophy of responsibility. Say to yourself, my financial future is mine to shape. Not your bosses, not your parents, not your governments, yours. That's the beginning of the wealth mindset. Taking ownership. When you own your results, you take back your power. And when you take back your power, you begin to move with intention. The next time a dollar passes through your hands, don't just spend it. Think. Ask yourself, is this dollar helping me grow, or is it disappearing into distraction? You see, every dollar is a seed, and every purchase is a philosophy in disguise. Are you planting seeds for your future, or just feeding a fleeting appetite? Wealth doesn't come to people who want more. It comes to people who become more disciplined, more strategic, more focused. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. But that's the truth that will set you free. Now, once you begin to take ownership of your financial life, the next shift is learning to think long term, to see beyond the weekend, beyond the month, even beyond the year. You must begin to think in decades. That's how millionaires think. They plant trees they won't sit under for years, but they plant them anyway. Why? Because they understand a powerful law. Compound growth favors the patient. Let me tell you, discipline may look small today, but given time, it becomes monumental. I knew a young man once who started saving just $50 a month. Not much. But he did it every month without fail. 10 years later, he wasn't just richer, he was wiser, calmer, more confident. Because the habit didn't just grow his money, it grew him. It changed his identity from a spender to an investor. That's the real reward of wealth building. Not just the money you accumulate, but the person you become in the process. And if you become the kind of person who manages money with wisdom, money will start finding its way to you. But if you treat it with carelessness or fear, it will always stay just out of reach. Let's go a step deeper. The average person thinks wealth is built through income, but the millionaire mind knows that wealth is built through assets. You see, income feeds your life, but assets feed your freedom. A paycheck gives you a moment, but assets give you a legacy. So start turning your income into assets, not just lifestyle upgrades. Every time you get paid, don't just ask, what can I buy? Ask, what can I build? That's the difference. The middle class buys toys. The wealthy buy tools. One fadeth, the other produces. You don't need to wait for a raise to start this process. You need only a change in vision. The moment you say, this money is not for spending, it's for planting, your future begins to change. I remember when I first began investing, it wasn't glamorous. It was small, slow, and frankly, a little boring. But it worked. Month after month, I put away a portion of my earnings. I didn't chase the latest trend or try to get rich quick. I picked vehicles. I understood mutual funds, real estate, my own business, and I fed them consistently. Over time, they began to feed me back. That's the lesson. Wealth isn't built with events. It's built with rhythms, daily rhythms, weekly systems, monthly reviews. If you want to see different results, you need different routines. Don't leave it to memory. Schedule your wealth. Block time each week to look at your finances, reflect on your goals, and learn something new. If you treat money like a stranger, it will always remain distant. But if you treat it like a student, if you study it, it begins to respond. Let me remind you, the wealthy don't get wealthier by accident. They track, they reflect, they adjust. The poor hope things improve. The wealthy review and make things improve. Don't be passive about your money. Be curious. Be involved. Be responsible. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to be a student of wealth. Now we come to a truth that separates the wealthy from the wishful. Wealth is not just numbers, it's philosophy. It's not just how much you earn, it's what you believe. And I found that the wealthy carry one belief that changes everything. I am responsible for my financial future. Not the economy, not their employer, not luck, but them. And that belief changes how they move, how they plan, and how they react to setbacks. If you want to think like a millionaire, start by taking full responsibility. That means no more waiting for perfect conditions, no more blaming your past. You must decide right now that you're in control of the next chapter. You can't change where you've been, but you can absolutely change where you go next. And that decision is the birthplace of wealth. It doesn't mean you'll never face challenges. Believe me, you will. But what matters is how you respond. The average mind says, this is hard. Maybe I'll stop. But the millionaire mind says, this is hard. That means it matters. Obstacles don't signal defeat. They signal opportunity for growth. The wealthy get excited by problems because they know the person who solves the problem controls the value. You see, if you want to make more money, don't ask for more hours, ask to solve bigger problems. Look, around every fortune ever made came from solving something painful, something urgent, or something inconvenient. The question isn't, what's the easiest way to earn? The question is, how can I be of greater value? Value is the key. Not effort, not time, but value. The market pays for value, not effort. You can dig ditches all day and still stay broke. Or you can create a system, write a book, build a product, serve a client, and those efforts can scale. Remember this, time is limited, but value is expandable. If you want your wealth to grow, your value must grow. And how do you grow your value? You invest in yourself. That's the final piece of this puzzle. The wealthy never stop learning because they know wealth is attracted to wisdom. So make a habit of learning. Read books. Study finance. Talk to people ahead of you. Take notes. Reflect. Apply. You don't need to become an expert overnight, but you do need to start feeding your mind daily. If you want to earn more, you've got to become more. Not to prove something to the world, but to expand your capacity. Your income will never exceed your mindset. So lift the ceiling, train your thoughts, and let your results follow. And when you do that, when you take responsibility, when you focus on value, when you plant consistently, reflect regularly, and grow daily, then wealth becomes not a distant dream, but a natural result of who you've become. Because the goal isn't just to make money, it's to become the kind of person who never runs out of it. And that, my friend, is how you think like a millionaire and build lasting wealth